I'm writing this because sleep stopped being an option. There's something about silence now that makes my skin crawl. And silence is all Alaska ever gives you. When people imagine forests up here, they picture postcard snow and peace. They don't picture how the dark breathes between the trees. We came here for Christmas break. My parents, my little brother Noah, my sister Emma, and me. Dad said a week off the grid would be good for the soul. Mom called it a chance to detox from phones. I called it a bad idea, but nobody listens to the 17-year-old. We leave Anchorage before sunset, which in December basically means afternoon. The sky is already draining of light when the mountains swallow the highway. Snow keeps falling soft at first, then in sheets that blur the trees into one white tunnel. Dad drives like he's done this forever, hands steady, eyes ahead. Mom hums under her breath. Noah's asleep with his face smushed against the window, and Emma sketches on her pad, wolves and ravens, the usual. I'm half watching the GPS when it loses signal. The map freezes. Dad? Yeah, it's fine. We're almost there. The printed directions say there's a dirt turnoff 5 miles ahead. I watch the odometer tick up, snow hammering the windshield. Then something moves in the trees. It's quick, a flicker between trunks, too tall to be a deer. 2 steps, then gone. Did you see that? I ask. Just the wind, Dad says, but his knuckles go white around the wheel. By the time we find the cabin, the world has gone black. No neighbors, no lights, just our headlights, cutting a circle into the snow, and the cabin squatting at the center, half buried under drifts. When we step out, the cold hits like a punch. My boots sink deep. The air feels thick, almost muffled. I can hear my own heartbeat. Mom fumbles with the key. It's smaller than the pictures. Dad laughs. Welcome home for the week. Inside smells of dust and pine resin. There's a wood stove, a stack of logs, mounted antlers on the wall. Noah points at a wolf head above the fireplace and grins. Cool. Yeah, Mom says, super inviting. I drop my bag in the loft and crack open a window for air. The night outside is still. Then I hear it, crunching, faint but real. Snow compressing under something's weight. I lean closer. The sound stops. Jack, Mom calls. Come help with the generator. When I go outside again an hour later, I find footprints by the tree line. Not boot prints. Long, narrow, deep in the snow, ending abruptly halfway across the yard. No return trail. It's like whatever made them just vanished. I don't tell anyone. Dinner's canned, chilly, and awkward jokes about roughing it. We play cards, build a fire. Everything feels normal again until a thud hits the roof. What was that? Emma whispers. Snow, Dad says. But we all listen. Nothing else follows. That night I lie awake. The wind rattles the shutters, then dies. I start drifting off when I hear it screaming. Not loud but sharp somewhere out there in the forest. It rises and falls, almost human, almost not. I sit up, my heart's pounding. It lasts maybe 10 seconds, then silence. The next morning I ask if anyone heard it. Dad says foxes scream sometimes. Mom tells me to stop watching horror videos. Emma just shrugs, drawing in her notebook again. Something with eyes too bright to be normal. By afternoon, the storm clears. We hike down to a frozen creek. The snow's fresh except for faint prints crossing the ice. They're shaped like paws but too long. The stride uneven, as if whatever made them limped. Noah tries to follow them until Dad calls him back. Tracks go toward the ridge. Leave them be. We head home before sunset. The forest feels heavier somehow. Branches sagging low like they're listening. After dark, I wake to a tapping sound. 3 taps, pause 3 more. It's coming from the front door. Dad checks, nothing there, just snow. But when he closes the door, we both notice it. A single handprint on the window pane. 5 long fingers, no gloves. No shoes outside. Mom says the handprint must have been left when we first got there. But I saw her eyes when she said it. She didn't believe herself. Nobody talks much the next morning. Dad chops wood outside while the rest of us stay in the living room pretending to read. The generator hums behind the cabin, steady but low like a mechanical heartbeat. Around noon, Emma says she hears someone whistling in the trees. We all stop. The sound comes faintly through the walls in 3 notes, rising and falling. It isn't the wind. It's deliberate, like someone imitating a tune they've only half heard. Dad steps out with the rifle. Snowflakes drift down. The forest stands still. He whistles back once, short and sharp, like he's calling a dog. Silence. Then, Somewhere far off, the same 3 notes echo back, perfect and mocking. He comes inside, face pale. No one go out again today. The afternoon drags. Emma starts sketching again. This time something crouched at the tree line, too dark to see properly. She says it's just for fun, but I notice she's drawn the eyes first. Oval, glowing, too human. By evening, the wind picks up. The whole cabin creaks. I sit by the stove writing in my notebook while Noah builds Lego towers on the floor. Mom's stirring soup. Everything feels almost normal until the power dies. The generator's gone silent. Dad curses under his breath, grabs his coat, and heads out with a flashlight. Minutes pass. The light moves outside, back and forth, then freezes. "Dad?" I call through the window. The beam jerks toward me once, twice, like a signal, then it vanishes. Mom opens the door, shouting his name. The wind rushes in, carrying a sound with it, not words, but a low growl that stretches into something almost like a laugh. "Mark!" she yells again. Then he's there, running up the porch steps, slamming the door behind him. His flashlight's gone. "Something's out there," he says, breathing hard. "Something big." He won't say more, just bolts the door and checks the windows twice. We eat cold soup by lantern light. Every few minutes, the dogs on some far-off property start barking, one after another, like dominoes in the dark. Later, when everyone's asleep, I can't help myself. I look outside again. The moonlight paints the forest silver, and between 2 trees I see it. Tall, too thin, arms wrong like they bend backward. Its head tilts, watching the cabin. I blink, and it's gone. The next morning, Dad says we're leaving. He doesn't care if the snow's bad. We start packing while Mom checks the car battery. It's dead. "Must have drained overnight," Dad mutters, but his voice cracks. While he works under the hood, Emma and I haul boxes outside. That's when we see new tracks in the snow. Dozens of them circling the cabin. Not boots, not paws, bare feet. And in the center of the yard, where the prints overlap, there's a dark patch, melted into the snow like something hot had stood there too long. Mom comes out, sees it, and goes pale. We're not staying another night. Dad agrees, but the road's blocked. A fallen pine across the path. He tries to cut it, but his saw jams halfway through the trunk. Starts getting dark again. He gives up, frustrated. Inside, everyone's tense. The air feels heavier. Noah keeps asking what's wrong. Nobody answers. Sometime past midnight, something starts moving on the roof. Slow, deliberate steps. Crunch, slide, crunch. We all freeze. Then a scratching sound travels across the ceiling toward the chimney. The fire sputters as ash drifts down. Mom grabs Noah. Emma whispers, "It's trying to get in." The noise stops. For a few seconds, nothing. Then a knock on the window beside the couch, soft. Polite, like a guest asking to be let in. Dad raises the rifle. Nobody move. The knock comes again, harder. Then a voice. "Cold out here." It sounds like Dad's voice. Every muscle in my body locks. The real Dad is standing next to me. The thing outside says again, "Mark, let me in." Its tone is off and too flat, too slow. Dad shouts, "Get away from my house." Silence. Then that same twisted whistle echoes through the trees, fading until it's gone. Mom starts crying quietly. Emma stares at the window, her sketchbook forgotten. I don't sleep that night. I just keep watching the window, waiting for the shape I know is still out there. By dawn, the storm's over. Everything looks calm, almost peaceful. But the prints are beckoning, this time smaller, like something crawling on all fours. We leave as soon as there's enough light to see the road. The trees loom wet and heavy after the storm, branches bowing low with ice. Dad says we'll hike until we find help or cell service. Mom packs what she can, flashlight, food, blankets, and locks the door like it'll make a difference. We start walking down the buried track. Every sound carries, snow crunching, fabric rustling, the faint hiss of wind. Emma keeps glancing behind us. I try not to. Noah holds my hand tight, his mittened fingers shaking. After half an hour, we reach the fallen pine that blocked the road. The cut Dad made yesterday is deeper, almost clean through now. Like someone finished the job overnight. The trunk's been rolled aside. Dad frowns, checks the saw marks. "That's not mine," he mutters. We cross it and keep going. The forest feels different now. The silence thicker, heavier. Then the smell hits. Something rotting, sweet and metallic at once. It seeps through the cold air until my stomach turns. Noah gags, "What's that?" No one answers. We just keep moving faster. About a mile ahead, the trees thin into a clearing. Something dark lies in the snow, half buried, huge. At first I think it's a moose. Then I see the fur is patchy, burned looking, and its legs are twisted wrong. Its face doesn't look like an animal's. Mom gasps and turns Noah away. Emma stares, whispering, "It's wearing skin." Dad tells us to keep walking, eyes straight ahead. I look back once and I swear I see the thing's chest rise, just slightly. The wind starts again, carrying faint whispers like voices too far to understand. The path ahead bends downhill. My feet keep sinking in the snow, the trees closing tighter. Then the whistling starts again. 3 notes clear as glass. We stop, it's close this time, just beyond the next ridge. Dad raises the rifle. "Stay behind me." Something moves between the trunks. A blur of pale skin and dark fur, shifting fast, too fast. Then it's gone. "Back to the cabin," he says, "now." We turn around. The path we came from is gone. Snow smooths everything over. No footprints, no trail, just endless trees. Mom starts to panic. "Mark, which way?" He looks around, turning in circles, breathing hard. It was right here. The forest creaks in long, low, like something sighing. Then just ahead, a figure steps out. It looks like Dad. Same coat, same face, but the eyes are wrong. Yellow, shining faintly in the gray light. It smiles. "This way's shorter," it says in his voice. Mom screams. The real Dad fires once. The echo crashes through the forest, and when the smoke clears, the thing is gone. No blood, no tracks. We run. I don't remember how long. Hours maybe. The light fades, snow falling again. When we finally see the cabin roof through the trees, it feels like finding a grave we forgot we dug. Inside, everything's exactly how we left it, except for one thing. There's a second set of muddy boots by the door, same size as Dad's. He stares at them without speaking. Then he says we'll stay one more night and try again in the morning. Mom wants to leave now, but outside it's already dark. We light a fire. No one eats. The air feels thick, pressing down. Somewhere outside, wood cracks, a heavy snapping sound. Then we hear it again. The voice. Cold out here. This time it sounds like Mom. Dad stands, rifle trembling. "Don't answer it." The voice calls again, closer. "Please, let me in." Noah starts crying. Emma pulls him close. The knock comes, gentle but steady. 3 times, then something scrapes along the wall, slow, dragging claws across the wood. Dad shouts in Navajo, words I don't understand, but his voice shakes the room. The scraping stops. For a moment, I think it's over. Then the back window shatters. A hand, long gray, fingers jointed wrong, reaches in. Dad fires. The room fills with smoke and screaming. The hand jerks back. We hear it running, not on 2 legs, but 4, circling the house. Everything goes quiet. We stay like that for hours, waiting. The fire dies. Dawn bleeds through the cracks. When Dad finally opens the door, the yard is covered in tracks, hundreds of them, looping, overlapping, leading into the forest. He says nothing, just starts the car again. This time it works. We drive until the trees thin and cell service comes back. None of us talks the whole way. When we reach the next town, the sheriff listens, nodding slowly. He says maybe it was a bear, maybe the cold made us see things. But when he sends someone up later to check the cabin, he calls us himself that night. He says the cabin door was open, snow blown in, everything torn apart like something looking for us had come back. He says they found prints too all around the cabin. Bare human feet, no shoes, and one set of tracks leading away into the forest. Smaller, like a child's, that stopped halfway across the frozen creek. No return trail. That was 2 months ago. I still wake up to whistling sometimes. 3 notes, soft and slow, just outside my window. And every morning when I check the snow, there are footprints. Not deep enough for boots, just bare feet.